Glenn, the January transfer window is open, and that means that there is a chance for us to do our homework, if we have not yet done that, and correct the squad. I am really, really pissed with all the reports coming out, and they're really coming from reliable outlets. The Arsenal's priority is a defender, and I know I know you might agree with this. Because listen, Mikel is a good manager. He's looking at this squad and he's gone, I need a defender. First and foremost, where are our priorities in this January transfer window? Where are your priorities in this January transfer window?
Has to be a striker. Last season I said that we didn't really need. Last season I said we didn't really need a striker, but we had proof. We were scoring a lot of goals last season. We broke our record in terms of Premier League goals. Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard were all scoring goals. I didn't know it was going to get to this level. So right now the priority is obviously forward players. We are short in defense. Yes, I think we still need a defender. Because if Saliba, like for example, yesterday got that red card to keep him out for 3 games, then what do you do? If you play Ben White and Gabriel at centre back, who's going to play at right back? You're going to have to play Cedric 3 games because Tomiyasu is about to go. And one of those games would have been Liverpool that Saliba misses. It would have been dreadful. Gabriel and Saliba should not be playing every single game. Man City, the centre backs do not play every single game. Today it's Diaz and Ake, tomorrow it's Akanji and Diaz, tomorrow it's Ake and Stones. They change, people rest. So that is how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to have 3 or 4 centre backs playing. Kivio for me should be playing as a centre back, not as a left back. I know we are short in that position, so I'd be very willing to get a full back. I'm happy to get a full back. A full back preferably who can play left or right side. We're not going to get explosive players like Frimpong from Leverkusen and Grimaldo from Leverkusen and players like that who are absolutely incredible wing backs who are scoring 10 goals already this season. You're not going to get those players. Yeah. But we were linked to players like Max Aarons and all those guys, such a level. Just a backup fullback or someone going to come and give them competition left back and right back. Then that will allow Kivio not to be playing as a fullback. He can help Gabriel and Saliba as a centre backs. And maybe that can also allow, when Tomiyasu and Timber back, that can also allow Ben White to focus more on the on the centre back position than help out Saliba. That was what I was thinking at the beginning of the season. In my head, like everyone is fit. We start with Zinchenko, Gabriel, Saliba, and Timber. That is what I was thinking. And then on the bench, you have Tomiyasu, you have Kivio to come on, you have Ben White to come on. That is what I was thinking. But obviously, the injuries kind of cost us. I do feel like we need a fullback, yes, depending on how long Tomiyasu is going to be at the Asian Cup and Timber with the injury. So fullback, get a fullback. But I don't think that's a priority. Yeah. We need to get one, but it's not like get one before this one. We need to get a striker like before we play Crystal Palace in 3 weeks' time.
That is what I thought. And I said it early in the morning today, that if there is anything we can do to boost our squad is to get in a striker before 20th January. That is when we play Crystal Palace in an early kickoff, I think so it will be on a Saturday. If we can do that, that's going to be really helpful to the squad. That's going to be really lifting. Because imagine bringing in a striker that scores a winner or scores 2 against Crystal Palace. Everyone will feel the problem is solved. Our problem has been scoring goals. The problem is solved. Everyone will believe again.
Get a striker, get a midfielder, get a fullback. A midfielder will allow players. I know we can get in FFP situation, but if not, and the likes of Smith Rowe start using Smith Rowe on the left wing. He used to play there for us. Start using them there. This new midfield that you're going to have, play Havertz, play Rice, play Odegaard. Let them rotate every single game, and also use Nelson as well to help out Saka some games with Martinelli. And then if you have Smith Rowe there helping out as well, and Trossard is there as well, let's not forget about him. If every single player stays and you get 3 players, that should help. That will help us a lot. If you get a fullback and you get a midfielder and you get a striker, and then the likes of Timber come back, that will help us a lot. But use the players that you also have on the bench, Jorginho, Trossard, and all those guys. Striker doesn't have to be 200 million to get a striker.
That's the point. I've done my realistic transfer targets for Arsenal, and I've said Sahu Girassi is 17.5 million euros. A release clause that can be triggered in January. and everyone is all about it.
I actually didn't know about the release clause. So there's for someone who scored that many goals in Bundesliga already, that's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And this this is a guy that Marcus Thuram was free on the summer, and we didn't take that opportunity. So the Girassi one has shown itself. If he comes in and is better than Eddie Nketiah, you keep him, you let go of Eddie. And if it doesn't work out, he's a young striker, he's a promising striker. Someone will be willing to pay above 20 million, and you can ship him off.
So players like that, I'm even open. If that's the case, then you can even get him in Solanke, but that would mean like Nketiah goes. 3 weeks ago we did a video because talking about TONEY, Solanke and all that, and because he was very clear on not wanting Solanke. Then I've watched him since then. He scored a hat trick, he scored a couple of can it be worse? You can at least put in the ball there and he can head the ball. He's not going to be a starter every single game.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. It can't be worse. It can't be worse. Like, unless that you're bringing in I don't know, Javino, a specialist at missing chances, it can't be worse.
Yeah, it can't be worse. So someone like that, and there's a lot of strikers in the world, and not all of them are going to cost you 200 million. I mean, in this team, something that we've done very well is to get cheap players that are very good. Odegaard will start 30 million. He's now very, very good. Martinelli from nowhere is now very, very good. Trossard was only 20-something million. Tomiyasu is 20-something million as well. Very good. So
Saliba is 30-something as well.
Very, very
Gabriel,
good as well. Gabriel same as well. So we have a lot of players who are very cheap and they've been very good. It doesn't have to be 50 million like Benoit. It doesn't have to be 60 million, 65 million like Havertz. It doesn't have to be 105 million like Rice. You can get players, and that is something that I've always said I trust. They've made a couple of bad signings. Yes, I do agree, the Lokongas and the Tavares and all those guys, but most of them have been good signings. Most of them have changed the direction of Arsenal. Can you get us a couple more in January? Let's not wait until the end of the season. We still have a chance. The season is not over.
Yeah, I've actually thought about Hugo Ekitike because he's struggling at PSG. Come on, there is Randall Colomwani now. There is Ramos. Yeah. So Hugo Ekitike could be. I don't know. I do not know his level. Like, I've not followed him as a striker the way I've followed Randall Colomwani and all these other guys. But I mean, do you think he could do the job? Do you think he's one of those cheap options out there on loan that can come in, score for you like 7-10, and maybe be a difference?
If it was my choice, I'd even get two strikers. You get someone like, as you said, like a Girassi who's proved himself this season for Stuttgart, and then you can get someone like that, like a backup option.
Yeah, backup option. Yeah.
But that would be Nketiah goes now. It depends on how much money we're getting from Nketiah. That just depends on that. If it's like 15 million, as I said, I'd rather keep him, not for this season, not to start games, but to be like our third choice striker. Yeah. Come on in the FA Cup, come on in the league, a few games here and there to give rest to the likes of Jesus, just for this season. But if it was like an option, like get two strikers, like when we were winning titles back in the day. I know football has changed. Those days it used to be a 4-4-2 and everything, but as I said, if we are going to play for two strikers up front a couple of games, we used to have Wiltord, Henry, Kanu, Bakam, all four of them. Yeah. We used to have before that the likes of Ian Wright as well in the team. Yeah. You can have 4 or 5 strikers and you can win the league like that. It doesn't have to be one striker.
Actually, football has not changed so much because there was a time when Inter Milan had Dzeko, they had Lautaro Martinez. Actually, previously to that, they had Romelu Lukaku, Lautaro Martinez. I think they had another striker, and I'm like, how do they do it? How do they have many strikers around? And they just keep on getting better. But it's what big teams do, right?
You use all of them.
Yeah, so bring them, right?
Use all of them. Someone just a different idea of a striker, someone you can put in the cross and you can, get there and battle players. It doesn't have to be 150 million. And if we can convince Brentford, as you say, to get a loan deal, I know it's going to be very hard, because
they've
now lost like 6 games in a row. So if they sell him and they don't have Mbemo as well, they're going to be in a bit of trouble. But let's not also pretend like TONEY and OSIMHEN are the only strikers in the world. There's not too many world-class strikers, but it's not like world-class striker. We can get a world-class striker in the summer, but for now we just need someone different. You remember when Giroud used to come on for us? There's a time we were losing 1-0 at Old Trafford. Giroud came on.
Yeah, and Chamberlain with the assist. And
there's a time we were losing to Bournemouth 3-0. Yeah. Sanchez and Giroud were both on. Giroud came on. Sanchez, I think, came on. We were losing 3-0. We are putting in crosses. Sanchez scored from a header. Giroud scored a last-minute header as well. Such like someone you can just bring on in the last 20 minutes.
There's another time when there's Lucas Perez scored a brace. We were losing to, again, was it Bournemouth again? 3-1, and he scored a brace, and we got a point.
Exactly, something like that, just something different. Even we laugh at Bentner and Shamak and those guys, but Bentner, the last 10 minutes of the game, if you brought him on, he used to get those last minute headers, something like that. Doesn't have to be.
It could feel something
different. Because we have like Saka puts in so many crosses, Martinelli puts in crosses, Zinchenko, Odegaard can all. We get so many free kicks and corners. Just something different, just to help us through the season. Because they're going to need a lot of different things. They're going to score from set pieces. You need a striker. I like Guirassy because he can run in behind, and he's that's tall, lanky striker can just run behind and shoot the ball. He can cut in and score with left foot. Something like that. Something just different.
Yeah, I mean, there are players like Daniel Malen. I don't know. I don't rate him as a striker. I look at him as a winger, but he's changed agents, and Fabrizio says that he wants to work in January. So that could be another guy. Dortmund have Nicolas Füllkrug at the moment, so you might actually think about the other striker. I think it's the one they got from Ajax. Hela as well. I mean, he won't be. I think he will be enough in January, but if you could, do the deal, and then he comes in for the rest of the season, I think he's a decent guy. I think he gives you, options as well. Now, you said you would bring in three. Three would be enough. Fullback, midfield, and then up top. I think that's kind of, that's kind of enough. Do you think the FFP situation we are in now could actually affect our transfer window, and do you think it could affect it to the extent that we see no signings at all? Because I've seen reports that Arsenal expecting a quiet window. They are afraid of FFP. They're waiting until the summer when some money comes in from selling players and Champions League and TV rights and everything. When everything has been totted up, are you afraid? Are you concerned that we might see a bad window despite the fact that we're desperate?
I mean, obviously, I don't want us to get in a situation where we are being docked points and all that. I don't want to get into that situation. But as you said, it doesn't have to be even TONEY or OSIMHEN. You're not talking about 150 million. I know things like wages come into consideration as well. But if you get someone like a Guirassy for 17 million, you can get that money back easily, especially if you sell a player. If it means you have to sell a couple of players, then you're going to have to, because we still have a big chance this season. We're still 2 points off Liverpool. We'll find out how they play against Newcastle. We're still in the Champions League round of 16. We're still in the FA Cup. The season is not over, so we still have chances to progress. So you can't just say, let's wait for the next season again. Who knows? Maybe next season is going to be Man City, Liverpool, and Tottenham and Man United. So what happens after that? Then you're competing with 5 teams. We don't want it to be like that. So we had a very good chance last season. We have another chance this season. Yes, you have to be wary about FFP. Don't get yourself into trouble of points and transfer bans and all that. But it's not like we've been spending 200 million every single summer, and now we are back in the Champions League. It can help us out as well. But if it means selling a couple of players that you don't need, absolutely fine. I'd be willing to sacrifice Nketiah to get a taller striker who's going to help us up front. So I'd be willing to, if it really loves Smith Rowe, but if it means there's someone who's going to give us 20 million, it allows us to get a striker, we are going to have to do that. We cannot be we cannot be like, oh yeah, we really love this player, so we really don't want to sell him. I would love to keep Smith Rowe for the whole season for sure. I'd love to keep him and see him improving and being the Smith Rowe that we had for a couple of years ago, and him staying with Saka and Martinelli. But if it means that we have to get rid of someone, Ramsdale, sell him, I don't know. If it means we have to do that, we're going to have to do it, because we're in a very good position still, so we can't just let it go away. So for me, just get me 2-3 signings. It doesn't have to be actual signings, 2 signings and a loan deal. That is also fine.
Okay. Just as we come to the end of the podcast, I'm just going to give you 5 options, 5 names. You give me your take on either sell in January or not, or keep until the summer. Aaron Ramsdale.
Keep until the summer, because if something happens to Ray, you don't want Karl Hein against Bayern Munich in the Champions League. So I'd keep him until the end of the season. I don't know how happy he is, but FA Cup, you're going to play FA Cup games. Let's hope we progress there. He's going to get game time there if we progress. The Champions League will come back in the Premier League. Maybe he can get a couple of games if Matt believes in him still. I'd keep Ramsdale till the summer.
Emil Smith-Rowe.
I always said Smith-Rowe and Fabio Villa give them this whole season. Smith-Rowe and Tomiyasu. I know they've been injured, but I said I'm going to give them this whole season to see how they do. Smith-Rowe's now recovered. It looks like he's been fit for like 3 weeks. I'd keep him. I still feel like he's going to help us a lot in terms of rotating him with Odegaard and sometimes playing on the left. It's up to me, I'd keep Smith-Rowe as well.
Jakub Kiwior.
We don't have defenders. If Timber and Tomiyasu were fit today, I would consider getting a bit of money there. I'd keep him, but I wouldn't play him at left back. Play him at centre back. Let him help Gabriel and Saliba. Don't play him at left back. He also gets exposed sometimes. So play him at centre back, and then at the end of the season we can look for better quality. But I think as a centre back, Kiwior is good. So we don't have any defenders. If we sell Kiwior, we are literally like down to 4 defenders. So I'd keep him.
Thomas Partey.
100% keep for him. If you were to do percentages, I'd say him probably second in terms of that.
Even if it meant you sell Partey for 30 million, and you can now trigger the release clause in Zubimendi's contract.
I mean, Zubimendi is still a midfielder, so I get if you had said you sell Partey and then you get a striker for that money, then I'd consider it. But Zubimendi is very good. He's been very good for Sociedad. But I think Partey, even if it means he'll play away at Man City and play away at Bayern and play another game, even if it's 4 or 5 games, I'd be happy to keep him for that. And then the end of the season, I'd not keep him for next season.
Okay. Takehiro Tomiyasu.
Oh, definitely keep for sure. I mean, he wasn't great against Fulham when he came on, but most of the season has been great for us. And again, even if he wasn't the answer, we don't really have enough defenders anyway, so he has to stay.
Reiss Nelson.
You know, if you tell me you're going to get like 30 million for him, like we did for someone like Iwobi, I'd consider selling him. Because I don't feel like he fits into our system that much. And, you know, if you can sell a player like that. 2 years ago, I was very open to selling Nelson and getting very, very open. I was like, I can see them making it at Arsenal. But Nelson, the impact he had for us every time coming off the bench last season, I was happy to see him getting rewarded. But if you're to tell me like that, Nelson sell would give us money for elsewhere, I'd sell him.
Jorginho.
Oh, that's such a tough one. I feel like he deserves game time. I feel like the time he came on in the Champions League against Sevilla, against Lens, the games that he started, he was very good for us. But there's a pass he gave to Saka for a Trossard goal. I think against Sevilla, he was very, very good in that game. Again, we don't have enough numbers, so until the end of the season, I think we need to keep Jorginho. And I don't think we'll get enough money for him anyway, even if you have to sell, so keep Jorginho.
Finally, Edin Nketiah.
If you're going to get like 25 million, I'd sell him. So for Nelson and Nketiah, Haaland, boys and all that, I know. I don't think they're the worst players in the world.
100% profit as well. It means that you're working on a healthy limit with FFP rules.
If those situations would get us in difficult FFP situations, I'd sell both of them, Nelson and Nketiah, and hope we can get money to sort out elsewhere. But if it was like they told us, listen, we're not in any FFP problems, we have 70 million to spend in January, I'd keep all of them because we have a lot of competitions, and I'd have Nketiah as a third choice striker. I play him in a few FA Cup games because after Liverpool, unless we also get Man City in the next round, there's a place where you can get a League One team, a Championship team. Then you can play Eddie Nketiah in the league. If he only scores against Sheffield, as I told you, play him in that Sheffield game. Rest to Jesus. Until the end of the season. But if he's the one that can give us money right now with Nelson, those are the two I'd consider moving on.
Thank you so much for watching this part of the podcast. We've been talking about the striker and the transfer situation at the club, what we need to do, what will our January look like, and what should it look like as well. Make sure you're subscribing to the podcast, you're hitting the like button as well. Find Glenn on Glenn Kitely, Everything Arsenal, on YouTube, on Twitter and Facebook as well. Thank you so much for joining me, Glenn, right on this one. It's been a very enjoyable one as well.
Yeah, thank you, man. Absolutely. I'm happy that 2023 is behind us. It was a tough year. It was an enjoyable year if you put it all together, but I'm happy that we've gone away from that, and let's hope 2024 is a better year, and happy new year to everyone.
Yeah, definitely. I will see you right in the next one.